Hounslow landlords, or landlords anyway, 1st of May is approaching. Be ready for this. From May 2026, Section 21 evictions, often called no-fault evictions, are being abolished. For landlords in Hounslow, this means you can no longer regain possession without a valid legal reason. You need to rely on specific grounds such as selling your property, moving in, or tenant rent arrears. For tenants, this brings much more security. You can no longer be asked to leave without explanation. But there are pros and cons to this. For tenants, the clear benefit is stability, protection, and from sudden eviction. For landlords, the downside is reduced flexibility, especially if you need to act quickly. On the flip side, landlords now have a more structured system which can reduce uncertainty when done properly. Tenants may find fewer properties available if landlords become more cautious. In areas like Hounslow where demand is strong, this shift means landlords need to be more strategic from the start, especially when selecting tenants and planning long term. At Diamonds Move Estate Agents, we're already helping local landlords prepare for this transition early. The second biggest change is from May 2026, rent increases will be limited to once per year and must be done using the legal process. For landlords, this means no more informal increases or mid-year adjustments. Pricing needs to be accurate from the outset. For tenants, it means greater predictability. No unexpected rent hikes throughout the year. However, let's look at the pros and cons about this. For tenants, the benefit is clear: stability and time to plan financially. For landlords, the downside is less flexibility to respond quickly to market changes. However, landlords gain a more structured and transparent system which can help reduce disputes. Tenants may still face increases if the market supports it, but just in a more controlled way. This is where local market knowledge really matters and where we're advising landlords to stay ahead. Third biggest change. One of the biggest changes in 2026 is how rent challenges work. If a tenant believes a rent increase is too high, they can take it to tribunal. The tribunal will then decide the true market rent. Here's the key change: there is no backdating. Previously, if a tenant challenged and lost, they could owe months in backdated rent. From 2026, that risk is removed. Let's break this down. For tenants, this is a major advantage. Challenging an increase is far less risky. For landlords, the downside is potential delays in achieving market rent. On the other hand, landlords still have the right to increase rent to market level. It just needs to be justified. Tenants still needs to be realistic. Tribunals can set rent at even above expectations. In a market like Hounslow, where comparable evidence is key, accurate valuations will be more important than ever. We're already seeing this become a key area of advice for both landlords and tenants. Be within market value. Another change in 2026. Fixed term tenancies will largely be replaced by periodic tenancies. What does this mean? This means tenancies will roll on a month to month rather than be locked into a fixed term. For tenants, this offers flexibility. You can leave with notice without waiting for the contract to end. For landlords, it changes how you manage your risk. Let's look at both sides. Tenants benefit from freedom and flexibility. Landlords may face more uncertainty with tenants being able to leave more easily. However, landlords can still regain possession using legal grounds when needed. Tenants may feel more confident renting long term, knowing that they're not locked in. In Hounslows' fast-moving rental market, this shift means landlords need stronger management and planning to maintain stability. Professional management will become more important now than any other system we've had. Get prepared now. If you've got an agent, have a chat with them, get educated. If you don't have an agent and you self-manage, I'm here. Okay, another change. The 2026 changes also strengthen tenant rights around pets and property standard. Tenants will have the right to request pets, and landlord must reasonably consider those requests. At the same time, property standards are being tightened, with greater enforcement on repairs and living conditions. Here's what that means. For tenants, this improves the quality of living and the flexibility of how they use the property. For landlords, it introduces more responsibility and potential compliance costs. But also, landlords benefit from clearer rules and expectations. Well-maintained properties are more likely to attract and retain good tenants. In areas like Hounslow, where councils are already active on enforcement, staying compliant is essential. At Diamonds Move, we're helping landlords stay ahead of these requirements and avoid those costly mistakes. My name is Manraj, I'm from Diamonds Move Estate Agents. If you want to discuss any changes or if you're still unsure, please give us a call on 0208 577 8855 or just drop me a message or a DM and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.